Today we're going to be testing out the apparently version of GPT-5, which is Horizon Beta. Now this is free to access on OpenRouter, so if you want to get access to it, just go to openrouter.ai, and then from here what you're going to do is you're going to navigate to Horizon Beta, and you can see here $0 input, $0 output. This is completely free, but it is popping off right now. In fact, if we look at some of the rankings, let's see where it's coming in right now. So it's being hyped up as the new GPT-5. People saying it's absolutely insane, one-shotting a lot of cool stuff right here. Some people are saying it is, some people are saying it isn't, etc. We're not sure whether it is GPT-5 or not, but either way, we're going to test it out today and see how it performs. I mean, here's a 3JS version that's been created, like some sort of animated graphic right there. And you can also use this inside, for example, Visual Studio Code, Root Code, etc. So let's give it a cheeky whirl and we'll see what pops off and see if it's actually good or not. All right. So the first way that we can use this is inside OpenRouter chat. If we navigate over here, you can go over to the chat over here and then click on this. And now from here, you can start using this bad boy. All right, so we're going to close that, get rid of those pop-ups. And so, for example, we can say, okay, let's take some prompts from the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description if you want to get access to this. So if we go inside here, and then we're going to take an example. So let's grab one of these prompts, a hyperdopamine pong game, because who doesn't love that, right? And then if we go over to OpenRouter, we'll plug this in. We can select app, actually. I've not tested that out, but that must be a new thing. So you can create artifacts as well. That's pretty cool. All right, I just learned something new. So basically what you can see over here is the inside OpenRouter, we can select Horizon Beta, which is apparently GPT-5. Then we can plug in our prompt in the chat, and we can select use app, right? Create HTML app, and basically that can create an artifact. You can even select web search, so you can hook this up to web search as well. We're going to create the artifact here, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll see what we get back. In the meantime, whilst we're waiting for that to load, let's do some research in the background, figure out what all this hype is about. So what we're going to say here is Horizon Beta, which is a new release of Horizon, because previously it was actually called Horizon Alpha, right? That was the previous version. Now it's moved to beta. That was a new release. This is free again, and it will probably be taken off the market soon. So make sure you check it out before it goes, because these cheap releases are usually just tests and then they get removed later. All right, so if we put is Horizon Beta GPT-5, we'll do some research on Perplexity, see what we get here. So some people are saying, all right, let's have a look at this. So Perplexity is saying Horizon Beta is generally considered to be a smaller variant related to the GPT-5 family, sometimes referred to as GPT-5 Nano. It is distinct from Horizon Alpha, which is often identified as either GPT-5 or GPT-5 Mini, with Horizon Alpha being more powerful and associated with reasoning capabilities. That's interesting. So Horizon Beta is considered like a smaller, more lightweight model, whereas Horizon Alpha is considered the larger reasoning model. And both are considered open source. I'm not sure about that. But let's have a look. You always got to take this stuff with a pinch of salt. So we're going to open up the artifact here. We've got the output. So this is all the code, right? And then in the top right, you can click on preview, and then you can play this bad boy, like you can see. All right? So let's open this up. I'm just going to mute that because that was super noisy. And there's your game, but it doesn't seem to be working so well, so I'm not that impressed, to be honest. I can't seem to move up and down. You can change the mood here, I think. We can switch that to turbo mode as well. But I don't know what the instructions are for using this. All right, let's try something else. And so inside here, I'm going to go to another prompt that we've got. And this is something that I used to test with Gemini 2.5 Pro. So I want to say, make me a captivating endless runner game, key instructions on the screen, P5JS scene, no HTML, I like pixelated dinosaurs and interesting backgrounds. So let's plug this in. We'll start a new room there. We'll create the app. Then we're going to create the artifact. You know, it would look a lot better if we can get this in dark mode. Can we change this to dark mode? I don't think we can we? Alright, so in the meantime, we'll go back to OpenRouter, see what we got. It's creating the artifact. Pretty fast at coding, but let's see what the quality is like. Let's check the qualidad. In the meantime, what other news we got about Horizon Beta? So yeah, these stealth models, usually it's like what they're doing, right? So for example, OpenRouter have announced this stealth model from Horizon Beta. Usually stealth models are like from a big API provider like OpenRouter or for example Google. They get released on OpenRouter as kind of like a stealth model. Nobody knows what it is. And then it's kind of a non-biased way to test whether the AI is good or not. They get a lot of data. Obviously, they take it off the market when they want to start charging for it, etc. Some people are saying they've built a fully working back-end database and front-end, but I can't see that because it's struggling to even just build a Pong game. This looks pretty cool. Alright, let's check what we got. Should be ready to go now. I just got a great tip. Thank you, Hassan. If you want to change your dark mode on OpenRouter, go to your profile here, and then scroll down. You can switch between them like that. There you go. Boom shakalaka. Hassan, you're a legend. Rico says, I think it's pre-recorded actually, mate. It definitely isn't. Oh, what's going on with this? Alright. Alright, so that's loading in the background. It's taking a sweet time. Let's try something else out now. So I'm gonna try and simplify this even more. So we're going to try and create like a simple 3D car simulator. So we'll go over to the chat room. I'm not going to use the app preview. I'll just use the basic and then I'll paste it into P5JS later. So it's creating the HTML now. And then we'll preview that in a second on the P5JS editor. So we got that ready to go. Copy this, plug it in over here, hit play. Not working, okay. We'll try it on Live Weave instead. There we go. Alright, so it didn't even create a P5.js for us, it just created a HTML. But what on earth? Oh, there we go. We're off to the races, literally. Let's change. To be fair, that's not bad. We can change the camera angle like that. And we're absolutely flying, peeps. He's disappeared a little bit there, so that's super buggy. Back on now. Incredible. What a time to be alive. So, it's not bad actually. Let's compare that versus Gemini. So, this is the one from Horizon. We'll go over to Gemini like so. We'll plug that in. I'm going to say, okay, take the same prompt. And we'll plug that in. See what we get back from Gemini 2.5 Pro. We'll compare them side by side. Now, in the meantime, let's test something else out now. So someone said, Horizon Beta, shout out to Cedric, Horizon Beta smoked Gemini 2.5 Pro in a one-shot Minecraft clone. So let's test this out. I'm going to go over to the chat room here, and we'll say, right, okay. Create a Minecraft clone. And we'll see if this smokes Gemini 2.5 Pro. So if we have a look at this, we actually got a floating car from Gemini. It says use the arrow keys to drive. I'm pressing the arrow keys, nothing is happening. Oh, there we go. Feels weird. To be fair, if I'm comparing them side by side, so this one versus the output from Horizon Beta, I actually prefer the output from Gemini still, simply because like the car moves really slowly, and also there's less detail in the graphics, right? If you look at the landscape of that, it's just not as interesting and fun to look at versus Gemini 2.5 Pro. So I'm still going to say Horizon Beta wins. Gemini 2.5 Pro is a superior model from what I can see. Let's go back to the chat room. We've got the Minecraft clone being created here. And we'll see how this goes, alright? In the meantime, whilst we're waiting for that to load, if you haven't already jumped into the AI Profit Boardroom, you're missing out, peeps. I'll tell you that for free. We've got inside here 5 weekly coaching sessions, right? So if you want to learn this with a real life human, not an avatar, then we actually have a PhD specialist, plus we have 5 different calls weekly, NA10 automation training session each week, weekly masterclass, Q&As, etc. And inside the community as well, you can just post any automations you want, right? So people literally post their requests on this thread, and then we show them exactly how to build those threads, which is pretty insane, right? I don't know anyone else who's doing that. So basically what we do is we take automation requests. You're like, right, I've got this, I want to do this, and we show you exactly how to build it step by step. You can see we've actually helped 213 people automate pretty much whatever they can think of, right? Sometimes people just post on there to test me and see whether I can come up with something. So feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. Prices are going up soon, so you want to make sure you get that now. And also inside here, we've got a 6-week masterclass, right? So basically, if we have a look at week 1, for example, inside week 1, you can learn step by step, okay, how do you build an AI agent in under 5 minutes, even if you've never done it before? Or like, what's the fastest way to make money with AI? We've got that inside here as well. It's just like, right, you do this, then this, and this, and it's a very clear step-by-step roadmap. Make sure you check that out, link in the comments and description. So from here, let's go over to the chat room. We've got the Minecraft clone. Let's preview it. WASD to move. I mean, it's just, it doesn't work, mate. Didn't work at all, that, to be honest. And I had to close it because it bugged out my mouse. So, am I saying that Horizon Beta is the new GPT-5? From what I can see, honestly, so far, it's not that great. And it definitely doesn't seem like the GPT-5 at all, right? So, honestly, I think if I had an option between, you know, and I've tested all these models, Claude, I've tested, for example, Gemini 2.5 Pro, etc. Tested all the latest models. I would honestly say that Horizon Beta is pretty average, right? It's failing on most of the stuff that I've tested with. It's definitely not a one-shot tool. It doesn't seem to be that good at reasoning and that sort of thing as well, so just don't recommend it. Now, if you want to use this inside, for example, Visual Studio Code, we do have a bunch of trainings inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Kevin says, when's the next live event in there? So there's one happening today. Obviously, it depends in your time zone and what sort of time zone you're in. But yeah, there's pretty much every weekday, there's a new event inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And it all gets recorded as well. So if you want to watch it back, you can watch back the Q&A call recordings here, all the coaching call recordings here, right? So you can always watch it back whenever you want. So let's go over to Visual Studio Code now. And we'll start coding directly inside here using Horizon Beta as well. I'll show you how to set this up. If you don't know how to download it, you just type it in on Google and you'll find the download link after a little bit of searching. And then you should be able to use this inside root code, I think. So if we go over to Horizon Beta on OpenRouter, like so, then from here, what you can see is inside the app section, you've got it inside all these different apps, right? So you can test it out, for example, inside root code, client, etc. I would say these are the top 2 by far that I know people are coding with. So, for example, if we go inside Visual Studio Code now, what we can do is inside Visual Studio Code, we're going to download the extension root code, and then inside root code here, we can go to settings, open router, and then select the model that we want to use. So let's type in Horizon, and you can see Horizon Alpha is no longer there, right? So Horizon Alpha was the reasoning model. We're going to select Horizon Beta. We're going to hit save like so, and then we should be able to start coding. And hopefully we get better outputs than the actual chat, because the chat was just absolutely dreadful, if you ask me, you know, when you got other options. So let's go inside here, and we're going to type in, let's say, just for the sake of simplicity and for the sake of making sure it can actually build something, let's just go in here and say create an SEO calculator, and we'll see what we get. All right, so it's coding out now, and it's actually using the plan mode, right? So you can see we're using plan mode here. What we're going to do now is switch to act mode. Act mode means it's automatically going to create what it planned out. So if you look at the responses here, you can see that it's planned out step by step exactly how it's going to create the project. Now it's coding it because it's using act mode. If you don't switch to act mode, it won't build anything. It will just plan it out for ages for you, like a master procrastinator. So we're going to close that. We'll close that. Now it's coding out. And again, you can see that it's using tokens, but it's not costing me anything, right? And the reason for that is because it's free. So wait for that to load. Bill McIntosh, the legend. Welcome, Bill. Says, have you tested out the new Quen model? Yeah, I've got a few videos on the new Quen model. I think it's pretty powerful as well. Honestly, I would say Quen is better than Horizon Beta from what I can see today. But let's have a look. So we are getting better outputs actually from Visual Studio Code than we get from the chat directly, which is interesting. And now you can see the SEO ROI calculator. It doesn't look that beautiful, but we can easily just mix it up in a second, all right? So if we go back to the chat now, we'll go inside Visual Studio Code, and we'll go inside the plan section here, and we'll just say, all right, okay, make it more beautiful, sleek, and interesting. So it's good to go on that now. Then we'll click on app mode. And it will just start coding it, which I really like. You know, it's such a good feature that you can just plan it out and then you add it. And you'll typically get better outputs when it gets time to plan it out. The other good thing about coding with Visual Studio Code is it's local as well. So you get to keep the outputs. You don't have to go back to the chat, which you're not going to find, you know, after you've tested 10 things and then you need to find the odd one. And then you can see here it's just fixing all the problems. So it's got a list of problems. It starts fixing those now. And you can see, actually, what's interesting here is it's switched now. I'm just going to switch this back. Whoa. I see what's happened here. This is why we got better outputs, because on the plan section, it was using Horizon Beta. It actually uses a different API for the app mode, right? So we need to change this to Horizon Beta and change that again. Something to watch out for there, peeps. So plan was using a different API to act, which explains why we got better outputs from the coding when we tested this versus chat mode, if that makes sense. So let's go back now. And I only knew because it started charging me. I was like, why are you charging me, mate? This is free. So we're going to go back in now. We'll start a new chat. X off that bad boy. Make sure we've got Horizon Beta selected as the API for planning out mode. And then we'll start going again. What else can we build here? Something more interesting. Let's try and build Sonic. So I'm going to say build the game Sonic as a single HTML. So wait for that to load. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is just test it versus Gemini 2.5 Pro. Here we go. We'll choose Canvas inside there as well. So it's planned out here. We'll go in app mode now. Honestly, my prediction is that we're going to get better outputs with Gemini, but let's test this out. So we're using Client now. I'm going to say, yeah, proceed with the defaults. Let's just keep going. All right, so Gemini 2.5 Pro definitely won on speed, to be fair. Let's test this out. The graphics are not great, but really, like, if you want nice graphics with AI, what you want to do is create the graphics first. And then from there, once you've created the graphics, you can plug those into the AI and say, right, I want it like this, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you get like really terrible graphics. But that worked perfectly. We hit the goal. We completed the level. Boom shakalaka. We can create more levels later. Let's have a look at Visual Studio Code. So it's still going. It's creating some new files. All right, so it's finished it off now. We'll open this up. Here we go. And it doesn't work. There's nothing. All right, so there you go. There you go. All right, is Horizon Beta GPT-5? I would say with 110% certainty, it's absolutely not. It seems really basic in comparison to Gemini 2.5 Pro. Claude Opus, I think, would absolutely destroy it. And yeah, it's just, I would describe that as no bueno. All right, it doesn't matter how free it is. Fayez says, is this AI or the real person? It is a real person, my friend. All right, so thanks so much for watching. If you want to get the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Make sure you grab it before the prices go up. And inside here, you can see that we've got an amazing community, loads of active stuff in there. If you actually join, you can get 1,000 invitation codes for Deer as well, which is awesome. Like, that's an AI automated browser, so it literally pays for itself once you join. Inside here as well, you get access to weekly live coaching sessions. You know, and bear in mind, like, normally, how much would you pay an AI automation session for an expert to answer your questions, right? It would cost a lot of money. Whereas for this, you know, you literally get 20 per month. So you can ask any questions that you have on the live calls. If you get stuck in between, you can post inside the community. Everyone's helping each other out right here. We also celebrate our wins, so we just share the journey together. It's kind of like, you know, you don't always have to talk about AI. You know, it's a community where just people with interest share stuff together. I mean, for example, you can see that we posted every week a new wins thread, and we just share what wins we've had this week, and that's really cool as well, because then we get to share, you know, progress and chart the journey together. It's also the only place where I actually personally answer DMs. Everywhere else I don't answer them personally because I literally don't have time. I'm just trying to help people in the AI Profit Boardroom. And then also you can see inside here you get access to all of my best courses, including a YouTube course, so you can learn step by step how I've built my channel to millions of views per month. I mean, honestly, if you start a good YouTube channel, it will change your life, because the money-making opportunities on there are absolutely awesome. And then also you can watch back the coaching calls, the Q&A call recordings, and there's a 6-week masterclass here. Plus, you get all of the automations I'm actually using inside my business, plus my best NA10 templates and workflows that are absolutely mind-blowing. All right, so feel free to get that link in the comments description to the AI Profit Boardroom. And then additionally, if you just want us to automate everything for you, maybe you want to become a client, you've got a good budget to spend, but you're not sure how to implement stuff and you just want someone else to do it for you, then feel free to book in an AI automation session. On this call, basically what we're going to do is look at your business, figure out where you're spending all your time, and then figure out, okay, what's the best automation to set up for you that's going to save you a lot of time, right? So a lot of people, they come to us and they're like, right, we need an email newsletter machine. Or, for example, we need to automate the creation of SEO content, right? Stuff like that. So if you want those sort of automations, feel free to book in a automation session. It is free, but, you know, if your time is worth $100 an hour and you save 100 hours per month and you become a client, then it literally pays for itself over and over. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. Delvey says, OMG, it's a real Julian Goldie. I hadn't seen you in months, man. Yeah, good to see you here. And hopefully connect with you inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, peeps. See ya. Bye-bye.